Hey DIY family, and welcome back to our channel Hacked by Ebanks. I'm Sasha, and today we'll be walking you through the steps of how we created this accent wall for Royal's nursery. Royal's nursery has been somewhat completed for some time now. He has been sleeping in his room. However, we always wanted to do an accent wall for him to complete the space. So for his birthday, we decided that we would do an accent wall. It did take me some time to come up with the design that I wanted because I wanted it to be a little bit different but still on key with the rest of the spaces in the house. So once I decided on this design and Rory agreed, we went right ahead and did what we had to do to get it done. Before we jump into the video, let me just remind you to like up this video, ensure you hit the subscribe button and share it. Leave us a comment below and let us know what you think about our content. So let's jump right into the video, guys. Here's a step-by-step tutorial of exactly how we did this accent wall. So the first thing that we're going to do is clear out some of the things that can be removed from the room so that we have enough space to work.
Gonna be painting the wall first, and I think I have a few holes to fill up based on our previous layout.
After that, we will install our horizontal slat wall onto the wall, and when we get there, we will talk you through what we're doing when we're doing it. We've already figured out some of this, the calculations and such, but some of it will be figuring it out as we go along. Right. So yeah, let's get started because we don't have a lot of time and we have quite a bit of work to do. We're painting the wall in a color by the name of Gravel Pit. It's an ICU color, but we were able to get the mix in True Values Easy Care paint. Now this paint is a satin or eggshell finish, so it's easy to wipe and clean, and it's more durable than having a matte finish paint. I will leave the color code below so that if you are interested, you can go ahead and get this mix too. So we're finished with first coat of paint. I thought that I could be smart and paint it very heavy or use a thick coat and we only have to do one, but there's still some white on it, so we're going to have to do another coat of paint. It's a bit noisy out here, but I wanted to show you the wood that Rory cut yesterday. Well, he got it cut at the hardware store. This is some of it, and I noticed that some of them have a red tone, this, which is not really ideal. I prefer this side with the yellow because this is the tone that I would want to have in his room right now.
All right, so here we have a lot of different wood slats, different lengths, different thickness also. So we have a few 6 feet long, and then we have some 8.5. Also have 2 inches and 3 inches. So as they are now, this would be one of the 3 inches. As they are now, they're in pretty rough shape, I would say. They're not that smooth. So I'm gonna use the sander and sand down some of these edges so we can get smoother finish. And most of it is because it was split in half. But remember, this was a 2-inch and then we split it down into 1 inch. So because it was split in half, you can see all of these little chips. So it's nothing too major. Once the front is good, I think we can definitely work with it. Also, we need to ensure that they're straight and they don't have any bow in it. So you can see a little bow in this one. Once it screws down to the edge, it should be fine. So we're going to choose the best ones, and we want the colors to be pretty close to each other. So we're going to make our selection because we do have extras, which I think Sasha wants to use on the next project. But let's focus on this project.
Tired?
Let's see it sanding.
Yeah, sanding terrible. Alright guys, so while we were sanding, I painted the shelf and I also did the second coat of paint on the wall. But I feel like I might get the right lighting. I think the camera there, I don't think the camera is doing the wall any justice, but this is so pretty. Let me contrast it to the white. It's so pretty. I love it.
Contrast it to the stuff.
I love it. So now we have to start putting up the strips. We're going to first word. So the first thing, we have some guide strips and we're going to put them vertically. So we're going to put them, find the center, and then off center them by probably like 2 feet each. 2 feet each, because the horizontal strips that we're putting up are 6 feet long. So yeah, so they'll be 4 feet apart, and then we'll have a 1 foot overhang on each side. We're going to start it now and put up the guide, and then we will add the strips.
Well, we need to cut this down.
What is that?
So this is 8 feet 6 inches. However, the wall to the floor is 8 feet 5 inches. So you need to use a miter saw and cut off 1 inch. As you can see, it won't fit.
Alright guys, so we're going to get to it because we don't have a lot of time left. After finding the center of the wall, we used our laser, level, and our tape measure to find 2 feet away from the center, and this is where we are going to mount the 2 supporting beams, let's call them that, onto the wall. So now we're using our laser level to find the 2 feet off, and it will help us to ensure that we mount these beams as straight as possible. Since we're mounting these beams onto a concrete wall, we did have to pre-drill the holes and then secure the beams onto the wall using concrete screws. The distance did end up to be more than the 4 feet that we had planned for, because the level moved at some point in our preparation, but they ended up being straight and they could still hold our 6 foot slats, horizontal slats, and so we proceeded with that. All we had to do was to remeasure to find the center and ensure that the slat would overhang at exactly the same amount on both sides. While this footage is a bit blurry, I thought I would slow it down so that you can see exactly what we're doing here. We're using a 1 inch thick piece of wood as a shim between the 2 boards, and then we're going to use our nail gun to nail it into the guide board. This piece of shim that we're using, we'll use it for every single separation going right down to ensure that our space is the same from the top to the bottom. And we'll continue to use our nail gun to nail everything into the guide. You can't really see it in the video, but we're also using our laser level on the right side of Rory to ensure that all the pieces are level or are the same distance going all the way down to ensure that we get as straight an edge as possible. I also want to point out that while we did go to the hardware store and purchase cuts for 2-inch width and 3-inch width boards, the board that we bought was a 2x6, but when you buy 2x6, it's not really 2x6, it is 5.5 by 1.5 or whatever it is. And so these pieces are a little bit smaller than 2-inch and 3-inch, so they're like 1 3/4 and 2 3/4. All right guys, so this is where we are, and as expected, the width of the board did affect us, because now we're short. We have some extras, so we're going to go cut them up and thing, but based on our calculations, with them being exactly 2 and 3 inches thick, it's off by some, so all of them like a 1/2 inch, they add up to this. This is where we are. Nice natural elements in his room. Rory, Daddy, got anything to say?
Did it turn out good? Just like you say you would want 4 inches.
Yes, so we use 3 and 2 inches, but you not really see the difference in a size. So had we used the 4-inch and 2-inch instead, then would have definitely see the difference in a size. But it still look nice so far. Morning guys, so today is day 2 of trying to finish Royal's room, and I think that we're going to get it done today for sure. The only thing that we need is to get a orbital sander to sand the wood, and then from there we can stain it, clean up, and put everything back in its place. So that's what we'll be working on today. The only thing is we don't own an orbital sander, so I have to borrow one from a friend she's another DIYer in the area, and she has one and she's willing to lend it to us. So I'm gonna get that. So we got the sander and we are about to start sanding. However, there is something that we want to address, and it's the plug. We knew that it was going to block the plug, and we were trying to come up with a way to create some kind of cover for it, so that when we put back the crib, Royal can't just stretch his hand out and plug out whatever is plugged in. So we are going to start with just cutting it out and making a frame, and then eventually we will build something to kind of flap over it, so that whatever is plugged in, him can't plug it out. Rory is going to go and cut that out.
So this slat runs right across the plug, so you can see the plug here. So the idea is that we're gonna notch this out using the jigsaw. Yes, and then we're gonna put a supporting board from this one to here and nail this to it, and same over here. So we'll still have the support for this specific board.
Oh my god guys, sanding, I hate sanding, but it was necessary because we wanted to get off that first layer from the wood and brighten up the color before we decided to put any stain or anything else on it. So sanding is a necessary evil, but we got it done. So this is what we have now. I much prefer the sanded look, and it coincidentally blends in with his fan, which was already there, so that's good. We took out the bottom just for cleaning purposes because we want to do a thorough cleaning and ensure that we get all of the dust from down there. So we'll put it back, and then whatever is exposed we have to just touch out the paint at the sides, at the bottom, just to ensure that we paint the entire wall and probably do some more touch-up painting, and then we're done. So we're off to stain, and we still not figure that out yet, but I guess once we decide what we're doing with it, we'll do it, which is probably not today because it's almost dinner time. So we're just going to try to finish as much of this as possible and then move on to dinner. So let's jump into staining. So this is a stain that we wanted to use on the slats. It's a clear satin stain, so it doesn't have any color and it shouldn't be too matte but have a light sheen finish. After staining a few of the slots, we looked at it and we didn't love the look. We didn't love the tone that the stain gave it, and so we left it as is with 2 of them stained and the rest of them unstained, because we weren't about to do all the sanding again, especially after we had just cleaned up all of the dust. So we'll rock it like this one now until we decide, you know, what we want to do with the finish as it relates to staining, but definitely we won't be painting it. We'll be keeping it natural. Well, there you have it, guys. This is the finished product. As you can see, I did not sand off the stain, but it still looks great. We added a few touches to personalize the space for our baby. This name sign we got from Rustic Signs in Kingston, Jamaica, and we also have the half moon sign which we got on Amazon, and a net, a mosquito mesh for his crib. Alright guys, so there you have it, the Hack by Ibang's touch in Royal's room. Let us know what you think of the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share our content with your friends. We have a lot more coming up this year. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.